It was a cold evening in Cleveland. The streets were busy with people heading home from work, children playing, and the lights of the city glowing brightly. But for one struggling family, this night felt darker than ever. James Carter, a single father of two, had just lost his job. Bills were piling up, and he didn't know how he would keep a roof over his children's heads. His youngest, Emily, only 5 years old, had no idea of the hardships her father was facing. She still held on to hope, still believed that somehow things would get better. That night, as James sat in his old car, parked outside a fast food restaurant, he watched his children sleeping in the back seat. He sighed heavily, rubbing his hands together to stay warm. He had tried everything, job applications, odd jobs, even asking for help from friends, but nothing seemed to work. Then something unexpected happened. A sleek black SUV pulled into the parking lot, and out stepped a tall, familiar figure. James squinted in disbelief. It couldn't be, could it? LeBron James, basketball legend, hometown hero, and one of the most famous athletes in the world, was walking straight toward him. James' heart raced. He wasn't sure if he should say something, but before he could even react, LeBron approached his car window and knocked gently. "Hey man, you doing all right?" LeBron asked, his deep voice filled with concern. James hesitated before nodding. "Just going through a rough time," he admitted. LeBron glanced at the sleeping children in the back seat, then back at James. His expression softened. "Come with me," LeBron said. James hesitated. "I don't want to bother you, LeBron raised a hand. "No, man, let me help." LeBron led James and his children inside the restaurant. It wasn't just any restaurant. It was one of LeBron's favorite spots in town. As they stepped inside, the warmth of the place immediately embraced them, and the delicious smell of food filled the air. LeBron ordered food for the family, making sure the kids got their favorite meals. James was overwhelmed. He hadn't eaten properly in days, and now, here he was, sitting across from one of the greatest athletes in history, sharing a meal. As they ate, LeBron listened to James' story. He learned about the struggles, the sacrifices, and the desperation of a father trying to provide for his children. James wasn't looking for pity, he just needed a chance. LeBron sat back in his chair, thinking for a moment. Then, with a smile, he reached into his pocket and pulled out his phone. "You're not alone, brother," LeBron said. "I got you." He made a call. "Hey, I need you to do me a favor. There's a man here. Good guy, he needs a job, can you help him out?" James stared in shock. Was this really happening? Within minutes, LeBron had arranged for James to have an interview at one of his business partners' companies. It wasn't charity, it was an opportunity. A chance for James to stand on his own feet again. "You've got skills, man," LeBron said. "You just need someone to believe in you. Now go prove them right." James felt tears welling in his eyes. I don't know how to thank you." LeBron smiled. "Just take care of your kids, man. That's all the thanks I need." The next morning, James woke up feeling something he hadn't felt in a long time: hope. LeBron had not only given him a chance, but he had given him the motivation to fight for his future. Dressed in his best outfit, James arrived at the company for his interview. Nervous but determined, he walked through the doors, clutching a folder with his resume. As he sat across from the hiring manager, he couldn't help but think of the events from the night before. The kindness of a stranger, no, a global icon, had brought him here. The interview went well. James shared his skills, his experience, and most importantly, his determination to provide for his children. The hiring manager, who had received a personal call from LeBron himself, saw something special in James. By the end of the meeting, James was offered a job on the spot. It wasn't just any job, it was a stable, well-paying position that would allow him to get back on his feet. As he walked out of the office, he could barely hold back his emotions. He had gone from sleeping in his car to securing a job that would change everything. That night, as he picked up his children and drove them to their new apartment, a modest but warm place he could now afford, he looked up at the night sky and whispered, "Thank you." A few weeks later, James received a call from an unknown number. "Hello," he answered. A familiar deep voice came through. "Yo, James, how's it going, man?" It was LeBron. James couldn't believe it. LeBron, man, I don't even know what to say. Thank you, you changed my life. LeBron chuckled. Nah, man, you changed your life. You just needed someone to open a door, and you walked through it. James felt tears prickling his eyes. He looked over at his kids, now happily playing in their new home. I'll never forget what you did for me, James said. LeBron's voice was warm. Then pay it forward. Someday someone will need your help. When that time comes, you do for them what I did for you. James smiled. You got it, man. That was the moment James realized that kindness is a chain reaction. One act of generosity, one moment of compassion, could change a life forever. And all it took was one person willing to believe in someone else.